guys, welcome back to Tornado Survival. My name is Mike, and this is our house. And it has been demolished by a tornado, but luckily we built it up underground and have remained, for the most part, somewhat safe. It's been quite a while since I have uploaded a video to my channel. I don't believe I've uploaded a video this entire month of June. If you guys didn't expect, June has been freaking busy as crap. I'm going to go over some things that have been going on in my life, some things that I will be sharing and putting on my second channel about the things that have been going on in my life, and talk about a few things that have been going on the channel and the future of this channel, because unfortunately my life is not going to get any less busy. While I do that, I'm going to be clearing out a room and working on underground farming, automatic underground farming system, and an area to put those cows, and hopefully we will not get hit by a tornado, but I cannot guarantee that that won't happen. Alrighty. First things first, let me talk about what's going on in my life so we can get some perspective, and then we'll talk about the channel and we'll figure out what's going to happen. I guess maybe I'll make it's going to have to be iron. We're going to need a bunch of pickaxes. Okay. First off, two very major milestones have occurred in my life over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, going on 3 weeks of June. First things first, I am now a legal adult. And second thing is, I am now an official graduate of the United States' public education system. Aw, crap. Oh well. So yes, over the past month, I finished up my last week of school. I went out to my summer camp that I work out to do my summer orientation. So that was during the next week of June. And then I had my graduation, and then I had my birthday. 2 days ago, on the 18th, I had my birthday. And this past week, I was out in the George Washington National Forest here in Virginia to go camping with some of my friends for the Mountain Week. If those of you that have been in high school recently or even back in the day know about Beach Week, Beach Week, Beach Week. Well, we decided to do Mountain Week. 2 reasons: because we didn't feel like getting drunk and hurting ourselves or doing something dumb. So we went to Mountain Week to do something a little bit more adventuresome and do something that may be a little bit more enjoyable for ourselves, and that we could persuade our parents and ourselves that there'd be nothing that we wouldn't regret. So, my high school career finished up. I'm freaking glad it is over. I'm ready to go to college, and I'm ready to freaking study meteorology and actually be independent and do my thing, as every 18-year-old at this point in their life is. So that's out of the way. I had a graduation party. My mom put on this thing. She's a wedding planner. Her job is a wedding planner for a building up the road in the other end of the neighborhood. It's an old building. It was the court masters of our county's building, and she went ahead and got hired to take a new job from working as a wedding dress salesperson to actually planning weddings herself, which she absolutely loves it. But she has a whole bunch of connections, because of her job. So, for my graduation party, I'll admit, I feel weird saying this, but I'm a humble person. I was begging her not to have a party. But she ended up getting all the family here, and she said the caterer served 150 people. Like, our backyard was, packed with people. She had the caterer, she had the tables, the chairs, the food, the music, the cake. She had it all supplied and all set up, and it was really, really awesome. So I came back from camp. I was from camp Saturday to Thursday, and I came back one day early for my graduation party, which is Friday night. So the family came in. I didn't have time to record. And the family came in. We had that big party, and that was all awesome. And the family didn't leave till Sunday, and then Monday morning I left on my trip. So we were packing and getting ready for the trip. So I was busy with that. But we had our actual graduation ceremony, and that was nice and all. And then we went on my trip. We went to a place called Todd Lake. I guess I can share the information. Sure, let's do it. Todd Lake. A really nice lake, nice campground in the George Washington National Forest. I had some connections from a friend that through my summer camp. So he took us, we did a hike up a place called Triple Mountain, which was like 3,000 feet hike. We went up through the clouds because it was raining all day Tuesday. Weird weather phenomenon. The weather in the mountains is very strange and very intriguing. And I'll talk about that in a second. And I'll talk about the weather that's been happening here in Virginia as well. So we had that super interesting. We went caving. That was really awesome. I might be able to share some pictures once they get developed, because the local CVS, the pharmacy where it's always like the 1 hour guarantee photo development, well, apparently people don't actually use disposable cameras anymore. I had a really old one in my drawer I used because I could take it in the cave and not risk getting it destroyed, because it already pretty much got destroyed by the end of it. But they have to ship it off to some place to get it developed, in which case it's going to take time. So whatever. Where did my other cow go? No, stay in there. No! Oh well. Who knows where they are? Where's the second cow? Did he go up here? Nope. Cow, come back. We did that. Well, the weather, so we went to caving and stuff, and it was really a great time. But the weather in the mountains is so strange, just because we were at one of the biggest ridges, which was the big ridge that divides, like, over in Virginia and West Virginia. And we happened to be on, like, I guess it was the dry side of the mountain, because on Monday, the winds were blowing just right, where lines, like little cells, were popping up on the top of the peak of the mountain, and then they would form, and then they would roll down the valley. And luckily, we were on the edge of the mountain that was on the other side. So like here's the mountain ridge that kind of goes like this, and the storms were forming here, but then riding the ridge down this side of the valley, and we were like here on the mountain. So we were thundering. We occasionally would get a little bit light rain, but we were actually fine. But on Tuesday, some rain got stuck in the valley, and it rained the entire day Tuesday. So when we did our hike, we actually climbed up through the clouds, which was pretty awesome, because the clouds were just so dang low. They were like, you know, we were up 4,000 feet, and we were getting we had to go through a layer of clouds, so it was like a heavy mist. Like, everything just condenses, so like you were just soaked coming out of it. So that was really fun. The weather in the mountains is just weird, because even after the cold front went through, and it was like in the 40s up there, freaking cold. What the heck? I was expecting at least 90, 80, 90 degrees one day, warmth, you know, ready to put on the sunscreen and go swimming at the lake, but that didn't happen just because it was so freaking cold. But we were driving back, and we went over the big road. We went over the big ridge back out to leave the Blue Ridge, and it didn't show it on radar, but it was raining up on the mountain. It was just a heavy, thick fog because the fog was just trapped. I guess the cool winds from the cold front were hitting the ridge and causing a bunch of fog and some light rain that really doesn't show up on radar, apparently. But it was kind of an interesting phenomenon because we drove into it and we're like, what the heck? It was blue sky and stable air everywhere, but the mountains, you know, screw everything up. This is not a safe place to be if there's a tornado. Note to self. So that was interesting. We did that whole trip. I got back this afternoon. I'm not doing a webcam because I look disgusting. Really, really, like, beyond gross. Just even though the facility had showers, I just still feel gross, and I haven't showered yet because I've been doing stuff. I wanted to record before I sit down and play. The other thing is, alright, let me see. The things I've gone over that have happened in my life. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. I'm going back to summer camp next week, then I get my wisdom teeth out, then I'm going up to Penn State for orientation, then I go back to camp again, then I go to the beach for the week, then I go back to camp for 2 weeks, then I come back and I have 9 days to pack up for college before I head off to school. So my summer is going to be very busy. And I'm not sure what the future of this channel is going to entail. Let me say this. Because you guys have been very supportive recently, even though I haven't put up hardly anything, my subscriber base has grown phenomenally. We've gone almost 10,000. We're going to be at 11,000 really, really soon. And I haven't partnered up with anybody, and I don't really want to do a partnership with anybody, but I really have enjoyed, you know, like, I really appreciate the support, like, even when I haven't been here. Because of you guys' support, I'm going to be able to buy a very nice laptop that is going to allow me to record in school, because I was going to get a laptop that was just allow me to do school stuff, but I'm going to be able to get a laptop that is going to allow me to record, and allow me to game and record for you guys. And because it's because you guys watch my videos, that's the reason I'm going to be able to get it. So I'm excited to be able to get that, and I hope that you guys will enjoy that. So know that there will still be videos. I don't know, I can't guarantee when there will be another video. Probably between my breaks at camp on the weeks I'll be able to do it, but I really can't guarantee when I will have a video, and I can't guarantee when school starts what my schedule will be. So I'm probably gonna have to take a leave of absence at the end of July, where I'm gonna be like, there will be no video. I can guarantee you there will not be a video for about a month. But once I get into the groove of college and know when I have free time and know that I can actually get around to recording, that I can guarantee that there will be videos. And I'll go back over that a little bit when it's closer. What next? Let's see if we can get these cows in here. They didn't burn. So that's that. Did they go through the portal? Damn it, I bet you they did. I bet you they went in the portal. Oh god. Alright. Well, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this episode. We're going to go find these cows. I think I've talked about everything I want to talk about except for the recent weather stories I want to tell. But I think that's it. No guarantees when my next video will be. The earliest there will be a video. Well, I'll probably have one more video up before I go to camp, like tomorrow or Saturday, or another video or two. But the next time I can guarantee a video is right before I get my wisdom teeth out, or right before I go to orientation, which is in 2 to 3 weeks. So I apologize again, but hopefully that's what'll work out. Weather stories. For those of you that have been weather geese, I got a tweet about it from somebody. I wish I knew their name, because Aww. You freaking kidding me? You burned in a freaking fire. Ah. Damn you, Nether. Well, I was going to record right when I had that last week of school before I went to orientation, but we've had a few weather events happen recently that were nuts. We had a few derechos come through. Derechos. We had one last Friday that came through, and we didn't actually lose power in that storm, thankfully. But it was just up the street that the road was closed because, you know, it had snapped all the power poles in class. It came across the cornfield, the wind did. So we were pretty protected with, if you've ever been in Virginia, we're a very unique area because we just have a massive amount of trees. And the trees are huge and they're old and they're right next to houses. So we had to watch with that, we kind of had to watch with that. And luckily, that also kind of shields us in a way that it doesn't allow the wind to break up because there's just so much they have to get through. So you'll see the wind at the treetops and the tops of the trees moving, but the wind very rarely gets all the way to ground level here in Virginia. I've noticed that's what happens. Like, I'll stand on the front porch and I'll see the wind coming from behind the house, and you won't feel any air movement at the bottom, but the tops of the trees are really, really feeling it. So that's usually something interesting to note that happens. But it came down the cornfield and it apparently like snapped all the power poles and it crushed the area around them. An area up on the road was hit pretty bad. Like the Route 1 was totally closed. So we just got like pretty serious winds with that. I think we had 60 or so, but it wasn't anything. There wasn't anything like insane about it. It was a typical outflow of the thunderstorm. They warned the thunderstorm, 45 minutes before it got here, and about 20 minutes before the rain started, we actually got the severe part of it, which was the outflow, the gust front in front of it, and that's really what does that. But what I'd like to speak about is Probably one of the worst storms we hit, because you'll have the storms come through and the storms will do damage, or you'll get like a tornado warning for your area, but it's never like your direct neighborhood that it gets affected. It's very rare. Like, you'll get it like every like 10 years. It'll be your neighborhood, but most of the time it's the other neighborhoods that you hear about that get hit. And we had some little spotty storms, pile up. Just some little spotty ones developed. Nothing too crazy. They got severe warned for hail because it was kind of it was just one of those days where it was just a cold pocket aloft. And up above, and there was just a really strong updraft. And we had these little cells come through. They moved a little bit farther north. And we were under a severe thunderstorm warning. It was for my specific part of the county. And it was no big deal. Well, whatever we had as the warning. We get warnings all the time, But whatever. So I noticed that the radar showed that the core of the storm was directly over us, yet it wasn't raining. And that was the first sign. And what I was able to conclude from it, based off of my amateur meteorology skills and what I decided, what I was like assuming that was happening. I'm not sure if this is what was really happening, but the radar was showing the core of the storm over us, and the meteorologists on the TV were like, these places are getting hammered with this hail right now. And I'm like, I'm right under that, and it's not raining. It is constantly thundering. The lightning was ridiculous. It was one of those storms where you're just like, it was happening constantly. And you get a couple of those every summer. But I'm like, it's not raining. We're not getting the hail. The updraft in the storm was so strong. The storm was growing at such a ferocious rate that literally nothing, the storm was over us, but nothing was happening because the updraft was just so intense, and that storm was just over us. And I just knew that it was about to get really nasty. As soon as that updraft gave out and the downdraft came over us, or the updraft just weakened, that the rain and stuff was going to get crazy. But what actually ended up happening was the storm itself moved a little bit farther north, but the outflow formed another cell that developed right on top of us. And this cell, I looked at the slow motion radar. Sorry, I'm not doing anything right now because I'm trying to explain the story. Give me 10 seconds. The radar itself, when I looked back at it, it had like the pink core on the inside, but instead of like there being a hook on the outside of the storm, this was just a little like a spherical cell, and the little pink part on the radar on the inside formed a little hook, and you could just tell that the storm was collapsing on itself, like the downdraft was collapsing, and it was just dumping everything at that moment. And it had started to rain, and it had been very moist. Moist, God, that's such a terrible word. It had been very humid recently, and it was just going to be a lot of rain. And I think we got something like 3.5 inches of rain from this storm in about 45 minutes. So the rain in this storm was just insane, and it was just pouring like crazy, and the lightning was constant. And we had the severe thunderstorm warning, and they issued a new one for this new cell, and I'm like, okay, my weather radio goes off, and then all of a sudden the hail starts coming. It hasn't hailed at our house in probably 4 or 5 years, and the hail was about nickel size. And I did a terrible job. I didn't do my Skywarn spotter duty because I didn't pay attention to the time it started. I didn't get into specifically measure or take pictures. I wasn't going to go outside anyway, so scratch that. But I didn't measure how long it was, when it started, when it ended. I was too like, holy crap, it's hailing. I haven't seen it hail in a long time. I was in the sunroom at the time playing Animal Crossing New Leaf because I think this was June 10th, or the actual day of June 9th, I think, right when the game had come out. So I was in the sunroom playing it, and it was smacking the skylight. So I put the game down. We go to the front porch. I've never seen my front yard flood like this before. Our front yard is a hill, and it turned into a marsh and a giant puddle on a hill. It was ridiculous how much water we had, and our front walkway floods, but it was a foot deep of water, and like the driveway was a river. It was running from our neighbor's house. I've never seen it flood like that. I did not know that hills could have flash floods, not because of the water running off the hill, but because the water couldn't go off the hill because there was water at the bottom of the hill, so it sat like on the hill, and it was insane the amount of water that was flooding everywhere. And by this point it was hailing. The hail was mixing in. It never really was total hail. It was hail and wind and rain at the same time. But at this point the power was flickering a couple times, and then the power goes out. and it gets really eerie because it's still pouring, but the power like totally went off, and I'm like, well, there's no wind. It's not windy. Why did the power go out? And at that moment, I get a text message because I'm on the Weather Channel's alert service, and they send me a text, and they're like, it said tornado warning for our area. And I'm like, well, why didn't my weather radio go off? And I realized that the freaking batteries in my weather radio were freaking dead. And I'm sitting there, and I see that we're under warning from our text, which is a couple minutes delay, but I'm like, I don't have details of it, and at that point, I couldn't, self-service went down. I no longer had any self-service, and I'm like, okay, I can't get my weather radio on, so I pull out, we pull out another little portable radio I have that I had charging for our camping trip. So I grabbed that and I quickly turned it on, and luckily it like played it again in a couple minutes, and I heard the warning, and it said, you know, spotter reported tornado and strong winds, or funnel cloud and strong winds. Radar suggests that the tornado is on the ground, and it's yada yada yada. And I'm like, moving this direction, I'm like, well, shucks, that's coming right down our main road if it's coming anywhere. And at that point, the winds hit like crazy. Our neighbors had called because the dogs next door were like outside. Our neighbors had like gone to the store and left the dogs in the backyard, and we're like, freaking crap, the dogs are out there. So our neighbors called, and we're all looking out the window in the sunroom because it's how you see their backyard. And we're like, I back out of the sunroom and I look, and it was one of those like where the rain and the mist goes everywhere, and the trees, like, all the branches were pulled to one side, so the trees looked really like they weren't even there, like it was just the trunks of them. And at that point, I scream at my dad, and we all like dive into the center of the house. We're getting pelted by stuff, and there's just giant branches in the yard. I wish I should took some picture of the branches, but it was ridiculous. And at that point, it only lasted about 10 or 20 seconds, but at that point, the wind stopped, and it poured for about another half hour. Do I have any coal? I'm out of coal. Damn, we're going to the caves. We went in, so the storm finally lit up, and we're still without power. You know, I don't have school because I'm gone, but my sister has school because she has to go take exams. I was exempt from all of them. But we go ahead and we drive up the road because we want to see what the heck caused... Oh, sweet, slime ball. Perfect for my sticky pistons for my auto farm. We were wondering, like, why did the power go out? Is this going to be something quick, or is this going to be powers out for the next day or two because all the power poles are snapped up on the main road? So we did something that's not recommended, but we went ahead and did it anyways. But plus, because all of our cell phones were dead, and we needed to call because our grandparents were here, and they were staying up the road, so we needed to call everybody. Oh, shoot. Freaking crap. We needed to call everybody, so we go up, and we're driving around trying to charge our cell phones in the car. But we go into the nearby neighborhood, and there's siding. We didn't have any structural damage to the house, but there was siding in the road. There was boards in the road, there was shingles, there was a little bit of insulation. The main road in front of our house, I've never seen our area flood before, but the cornfields had all flooded on our main road, and the main road was completely impassable because it was so flooded, and all in front of our school was just underwater. So we went ahead and kept driving around, but when we came back to the house, the power was out for about, 15, 16 hours. It came back on later that next morning, and it caused mayhem. The schools ended up being delayed, just our schools, because we were the only area affected. It was a very, local area that was affected. But some people had some pretty promising video of a tornado. From their angle, it looked like rotating wall cloud, but it turned out just to be a bunch of scud. And using my amateur meteorology skills, I noticed that the damage was not very concentrated, not very strong, but it was more spread out and widespread. And based on what we experienced at the house, because the wind came from all one direction, that it never swirled around and came from the front of the house. It always came from the back of the house. That we were all... I was like, I'm pretty sure this was straight line winds. This was a microburst that occurred right over our local area because that storm was just so intense. So they ended up concluding that it was indeed a microburst and not a tornado, but it did have the damage of an EF0 tornado of 80-mile-an-hour winds. But it was just a very localized area, and we pretty much had every type of severe weather in a matter of an hour, and it came very suddenly because we were sure the storm had passed, and then it exploded over us. So I hope I made that story not too exaggerated. It was not exaggerated, and I hope it was kind of entertaining to listen to. I have another story to share about my car. I have another short story to share about camping, but I realize I've been doing this for like talking a really long time and not really doing much in Minecraft. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. Next time we'll have some tornadoes. Maybe I'll force some rain to make it interesting for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for still building this channel and for still functioning. And this channel is still alive even when I'm not here, and that is awesome. Thank you guys so much again. Thank you for bearing with me through all this stuff going on in my life. So another video before I head out, but then I will talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there and enjoy your weather because it's the only weather you got. See ya.